Hello guys, and welcome to this video tutorial. Yeah, I think it's a tutorial. I think you can call it this. That I have been planning on doing for quite some time now. And I finally got around to have the material, to have the diorama of need, and to have the time and the mojo to do it. So today I want to talk to you about blending in forest ground and muddy road, or just dry ground with wet ground, because I have done a tutorial on making a muddy Ardennes forest road, and I have made a video on making forest ground, but the difference between the two of them is quite stark. Whereas the mud is, well, wet and only contains like small debris of forest ground. The forest ground looks much drier, much more composed, and to combine the two and not have a very stark contrast between the two at the point where they meet is quite important, especially for diorama builders, and especially for those of you who are not as skilled in creating landscape, as I would consider myself to be. I don't consider myself to be skilled. That's what I want to say. Sound it differently. And I want to practice on getting better. And I have practiced, and I think I'm at the point where I can show you how I do it, and how I think you can do it to just have it look realistic and not overdone. And like I said, I now have the material. And I've got a new camera angle, and I hope you like the new camera angle, which we will be using to film the process of putting down the mud and then blending the mud and the forest ground together. And I think this camera angle is quite good for this because it only shows you the dial and my hand with clean fingernails. Look at this, Paul. And so that's all you need to see, actually, because we will go over the materials quickly before we do this. So let me set everything up, I'll show you the materials, and then we'll be good to go in just a couple of minutes. Alright guys, as promised, we'll now take a look at the product that we're using for this project here on the mud and the blending. And for the mud, I'll be using this. This is from the Scenic Factory, an American-based company in the state of New York, and they made the wonderful trees, the kits for the trees that are on this diorama, and they make pretty ready-mixed mud. And it looks like this, which is unassuming, but let me tell you, once you put this on the diorama piece, it will just turn this into the most beautiful mud you've ever seen and you've ever spent money on. I think it's over a year ago. I bought this for the first time when I was building my King Tiger in the Ardennes diorama. And I gotta tell you guys, I was blown away by the quality of this stuff. And yeah, I can only advise you guys, go give the website a look. I'll put it in the description. And see how you like the stuff. Put an order in. Get a mud kit, and that'll get you a long way. For blending, we'll be using this, which is Reality and Scale's ground base dark brown, which is a nice product. I bought this recently, and I gotta say, I'm impressed with this as well. And I'll be using this, another product from the Scenic Factory, Forestfloor, Autumn Tone. Let me open this. It has a beautiful mixture of, as you can see, pieces of wood, pieces of debris, leaves, everything you want in your forest ground is in there. Even like pine, pieces of pine tree, all kinds of stuff. And we'll be blending this together later on. So those are the three things I will be using. And we'll start out with this. I did an extensive video on this, doing this, but I have had some complaints that you were actually not able to see me doing the prep work on spreading the mud. Well, there is no prep work. You just unscrew the lid, take a spatula, spread it over the top, take something like my hairy arm, like this, which is an improvised track imprinter. It's a panther wheel with king tiger tracks. Actually, I need to take something not king tiger. I need to make another one of this because king tigers weren't around in 1943. Or you can take other stuff. This is a Schwimm wagon wheel. This is a Panzer 3 track, Panzer 4 track, which was probably going to be what I use. Maybe tiger tracks. And then you can just put down the mud, let it cure for a second, get a tub of water, get your imprinter, and you can imprint the tracks in there. Perfectly fine. We'll see that in a second here. So let me set everything up. Let me get all my tools. We'll just quickly, once again, like I said, we only need a spatula and a stiff brush. And then we'll get right to it, spread the mud. We'll just do this area because I think this is enough to just demonstrate spreading and blending. I'll do this off camera. Once this is done, I'll come back and I'll show you the entire process and how the finished result looks. So I'll be right back. See you in a second. Alright boys, here we go. We have our mud. Zany factory. We have our diorama base. We have a piece of wood that we can use as a spatula. And we can just you always want to at least mask the edges of your dio base in order to prevent them from being covered in mud, because that would be a shame, right? Look at the color of this. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. Can't say enough about this stuff. How happy I am about this stuff. Look at this. How easy you can spread this around. Look at the texture of this. Well, this is semi-loaded. You can get this either loaded, semi-loaded, or just the plain mud without any debris in it. And this is semi-loaded, which I think offers you maybe the best bases for then doing your stuff with it. And I'll just spread the mud almost all the way till the bank that we've created up top, the forest bank there, right? We'll almost get all the way in there. There's no problem if we touch the bank or the forest ground that we've created up there. No problem whatsoever. We want to try and create an even surface and have mud everywhere. And don't forget like areas. And always like try to have in mind where you want to have like puddles of water. Maybe if you're planning on doing stuff like this, which I am. So I'll be using less of it in some areas and more of it in other areas. So yeah. And always try to have even coverage. Don't get too woozy and flimsy with it. Get it everywhere. Don't try to be too cute with it. It is mud after all. And always remember, how would mud spread in real life? If especially a heavy vehicle like a tank travels on it, it would of course get pushed outside. So on the outside you should have raised areas where there's more mud, whereas on the inside it should be a little less. Just how does mud work in nature? Beautiful. The texture is out of this world beautiful. Now I need to be a little bit careful because I poured the water. It's dry, so it won't be damaging the poured water. I just don't want it overhanging into the poured water too much, right? I want it to be at the corner of the water because I will be pouring more water, of course. So then the next layer of water will interact perfectly with the mud. So that's what we want. So we're almost there. I gotta tell you, I am well impressed with this product. This is, in my opinion, the best mud product on the market. And you can also, if you're wearing gloves like I am at the moment, use your glove to manipulate the mud. If you have excess mud, you're going to get it back into the tub. And that should be enough mud spread. So we can close the tub back up. Just close it right good. So you can reuse it. Then we want to try and get this pretty even. This is going to be an area here where I want to have a puddle of water later on. Try, like I said, try to get it to the edges where we are going to blend it soon, right? The first thing we need to do though is make sure our coverage is good. We get the mud everywhere we want it to be. Helping will be the brush. Oh, sorry. Moving the camera was not a good idea here. There we go. Using the stiff brush, we just push it down to the edge of the water, like so. This blends it in perfectly with the water. This looks really good to me. There we go. There we go. And we can also do the same here on the side with the Forestfloor, like so. We need to clean our brush though, so we need to have some water handy. And since this is the spreading of this, let me clean everything. Once I've cleaned everything, I'll be right back. Alright gentlemen, here we are again. And I had to improvise a bit because I didn't have, like I said, the Tiger imprinting tool yet. So I just built one. It's just a set of tracks glued together. And that just fell apart. But that's no problem. I'll just do it this way. It'll be a bit more hideous, but we can do this. So it's just a couple of tracks. We dip them in water. This is important. You need to have water handy, because otherwise the mud will just stick to your tracks. Okay, I used a bit too much water, I think. Yeah, this is too much water. You know what? I don't care. I'll take the King Tiger tracks. Because this is so much easier this way. You take the thing with the roller and you just roll it over the top, like so. You just roll it over the top, like so. Just roll it over the top. Roll it over the top. Yeah, and then you take like the Panzer 3, Panzer 4 one, and just roll it. Like, yeah, be careful not to like have your finger touch the stuff, like so. Then you can even take the car one and roll it over the top, which just does not work as well. Right, and those will be cleaned off in a second. But as you can see, we have the nice imprinted tracks. We then take our brush and just clean up some of the mess we did next to it. Although we want the mud next to it to be a bit more like agitated, I'd say, because vehicles run over there. So as you can see, this is where we're at right now. So I'll just clean those off, and after that we'll add debris and we start blending in the mud and the forest. I'll be right back. Alright guys, this next step might just be the most important within this entire video, and it's blending the mud and the forest ground. So we use our ground base, dark brown, and put a little something of this in a bowl. Try not to get the big pieces, just a couple of small pieces, that should suffice. Then we take our bowl. We want to wear set up a pair of gloves, I guess. And then we just sprinkle this on top, like so. Take a little bigger pieces, put them there, because we want to make this level. Otherwise, this just looks weird. And we want to blend in the colors, which is important. We can even take some of this, sprinkle it in the middle here. We don't need to do this, but I like to do this just to blend in the products. Once we have done this, I don't think I've done enough. A little more here. See there, there's a gap. That's not what we wanted to happen. We do not want the stuff to get into our tracks here, because that's where a tank goes, like this. When we have done that, we can pour the rest back in our cup. And then we take the Forestfloor loaded. Take a bunch of it, not a lot, only, see? And don't try to make a mess of your apartment doing this, like I just did. And we sprinkle some of this on there. Look at this. Look at this. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, how are you? You're a beautiful little flower. You go in there. Look at this. Even adding some vegetation, which I always think is a nice thing. Awesome. That's what I love about the Scenic Factory stuff. It just adds so much. And here, thanks to the way the mud is composed, you can also imprint stuff within it. And then we can take some of this, put it here. Couple of twigs, why not? Look at this. This is just beautiful. I love it. I love the way this looks. So, as you saw, this is an easy way of having a pre-constructed forest ground with forest ground material, taking a pre-mixed mud product like this from the Scenic Factory, and combining the two to create a beautiful, beautiful forest, muddy road, and forest area. Of course, I will have to clean up the water here because some of the debris fell into it, but that's not a problem. As long as you pour another last layer of water on top of the layer you're working with. You do not want to start pouring the water when everything else is done, because you do not have the dimensions yet. So you want to do at least some pouring just to see what the dimensions are, where you will go. And so I think this is, yeah, the way to do it. So I am really happy with how this looks. I hope you guys like this, and I see you guys in the next video. Like I said, give the Scenic Factory a look. I'll share the link in the description. John, the guy who runs the place, is an awesome guy. Write him an email. Tell him what you need. you guys will work out what you can do. And I see you guys next time. This is Hot Modeling. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon. And there will be a couple of pictures of the finished dio and how this looks once it's dry. See you guys soon. This is Hollywood Modeling. Bye, guys.